Hi, man. So here at the Revolting Homestead, we love mead. I love mead. I think Mariah likes it too. It's easy to make, and it's delicious from the second you mix it. Before it ever ferments, it tastes like you're drinking cream soda. The hardest part about making mead is making it last until it ferments. But our old system was really lousy. Wine, mead is just honey wine. And if you're making wine, the big risk is always that you're going to turn it into vinegar. You got to keep excess oxygen out to keep it from going to vinegar. My old system was lousy. I'd mix it in a bucket and let it start fermenting, and then I'd move it over into bottles to try to put plastic baggies over it with little holes in the top so the pressure could release, but the air couldn't get in there. And it always made a gigantic mess, and it just wasn't a good system. So I'm not following any directions. This is all stuff that I've heard, because I don't follow directions well anyway. But this is all stuff I've heard somewhere else, and I've just sort of put it together in something that I'm sure someone else has done. In fact, I know someone else has done. This is just my version of it. So today we are going to make a homemade mead. What do they call those things that you make wine in? It's not a carbuncle, but it's something like carbon. Yeah, a homemade mead carbon. So the first thing I got to do, well, obviously you've seen this already, but the first thing I had to do when I got started was go find a bucket. Okay, so in my miscellaneous piles of crap, I have buckets everywhere. I had a couple I'm looking for, though, one specific. We've let our food storage get behind. Alright, so these are free buckets we got from a bakery. Those are Home Depot buckets. Yeah, there's the ones I want. These are some 90 ml food grade buckets I got with fashion off. Oh, and of course they're going to be stuck. Oh, great. That's actually another free bakery bucket. Alright. There we go, that was simple. Alright, now, do I have the lids? Hopefully that's done back over here by the porch. And it is not. Now I gotta go find lids. And as any married man knows, when you can't find something, ask your wife. How she knew that this particular lid for this particular bucket was on this particular wrong bucket, I'll never know. Oh yeah. You can't hardly see it down in there, but there's a gasket. That's what we're looking for. Now, if only she knew where stuff was in my shop. Consider this a Gravely update. That's about all you need to know about the Gravely. Okay. So I gotta figure out, I gotta find drill bits to fit that in that. And I shouldn't say that. I frequently appreciate my wife, but I almost never appreciate her as much as I do when I'm looking for stuff. Because she always knows where it's at. If this was a Wrangler Star video, he would tell you how his great-great-grandfather brought these drill bits over with him on the boat from Europe, and they would still be in their original packaging. See, is that? He'd also have a camera stand so that this would. That's about the right size. What is that? I'd show you the size, but then you'd see that it was made in China. We'll go ahead and do it. Where's it at? That won't focus anyway. 15/32. Okay, so that's 15/32. It's close enough. I want this to be pretty tight. Wonder if I've got a. I was about to say 16/32. That's a ½ inch. 31/64. I think that's probably close enough. Okay, and this is going to be about a 3/4. Ooh, 1 inch is really close. We're going to go with the 1 inch. Alright, we got our drill bits. Yeah, Wrangler Star would be... Actually, my father did give these to me. He was throwing them all out, and because I collect junk, he knew I'd loan them. So he gave them to me in that original European packaging there. That's actually how they were handed down to me from my forefathers. Amen. Alright, so my camerawoman's back with me now. So what we got is I want to put a spigot on the front to be able to, I can't remember, rack up. Racket is when you drain the mead off and you leave like the sludge on the bottom. And then I need a vent at top to put my redneck fermentation lock on. So that's what we're about to do now. I know at some point somewhere I have seen spigots that had rounded bases on them to fit on the side of buckets. I'm sure a simple internet search would turn it up. I'm not going to do it. I don't have that kind of patience. I had to just go to Home Depot and get what they had. And I had to make gaskets. I've never made gaskets before. And it's simple. It's not hard, but it was kind of fun. Alright, so we're going to start drilling now. Oh, and I had to go find my good drill bits too, because I remembered where they were after I picked the lousy ones. Alright, here we go. Okay, so I got this brass piece, which I didn't need a brass piece, but I like brass. I'm going to have to tighten that down, probably with a wrench though, because that hole's really, really tight. And we'll get this I got another gas. Oh, there it is. This top part doesn't really need to be this airtight. It's just got to keep oxygen from getting back in. But it's got to be a little. Alright, so there's going to be I got a piece of tubing here and come off of this nipple and wrap it a few times and have it pointing up and fill that with water, and that way when gas builds up it can bubble past the water, but oxygen just doesn't get back down in, because if it gets too much oxygen in there it turns to vinegar, and vinegar is not mead. Alright.
Go.
Alright, now we got our spigot, which this spigot is kind of just for convenience sake. I always make this giant mess when I'm racking the mead out, which is just draining it off and changing it into a different container. Or even when you're just getting some out to drink, it's impossible to. Usually what we do is we start it in the bucket, and then real stupid dog. Real quick we move it over to bottles, and that makes a huge mess, and it's hard to deal with. So my goal here is that this can just be a one step stop, where I can just let it let the whole process go in this bucket and never have to worry about doing anything but draining it off to drink it. Although I may make a second one of these so I can rack it off into another one and rack it off into a second one and then be able to use that one the same way, and then maybe go ahead and start another second batch right away. We'll have to see if this is watertight though. That's going to be the big issue here. And if my stupid gaskets hold or not. I think they're going to. Oh, I might need a wrench too. I don't know. Alright. Now we got...
Go.
Alright. Now we're going to try to redneck a fermentation lock. Yes, I know they're incredibly cheap online. Again, it's just not my style. Okay, so the whole thing of a fermentation lock is supposedly, and again I'm making all this up, this is the first time I've ever done this, so you want to let the pressure off of the, as the mead's working, it's making gases, and you want to let those gases bleed off as the pressure goes up, but you don't want to let air get back in. Lots of guys use a balloon, but I am going to do this thing. I can't remember where I saw it. I saw it somewhere. And I'm hoping it'll work. I don't know why it wouldn't. except that I don't know how to work a zip tie. I promise I'm not an idiot. Okay, there we go. Alright, and the way this whole thing's supposed to work is that you put water down in here to get into the loop. And then the water's down here in the bottom, so the gas builds up pressure and pushes past the air, or pushes past the water, I'm sorry, but oxygenated air can't get back down. Now, the real test is it watertight? Because if it doesn't hold water, you know, it was a waste of time. So that's what we're going to go check now. Alright, here we go. Here's the test. Test number 1. If this doesn't fail, we're not going to quit. It's not the test, it's the first test. And the only thing that really matters is if this gasket holds right here. Uh-oh. Nope, we're not holding. Well, hell. I was about to turn the hose off at the spigot. Alright, we got a little leak there. So I'm either going to tighten it or make a new gasket. We'll come back here in a second. Alright, so there you go, we got it. I had to tighten that spigot down a little bit more. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. So I see inside that spigot's just got a, it's not a coupling, it's an adapter. It's got an adapter on the inside there. Mostly because that's all I could find to fit that would go up against it, but I'm sure I can make up some advantage to having that adapter. As soon as I come up with something, I'll tell you. And then there's the alleged fermentation lock. I've just got, again, this is a coupling on the bottom, and that's supposed to be our fermentation lock. For those of you who saw the buckets before I cleaned them, I did clean the hell out of them, bleached them to death and scrubbed them, so they're not that disgusting that they were when you first saw them. There you go, man. We appreciate you. I'm excited about this. In the past, my old system has not worked very well, and I'm hoping to get a damn near continuous supply of mead. Although apparently I don't need it out of this because it's good stuff, and I tell myself it's good for you. Thank you, man. We appreciate you.